There's an article in the Los Angeles Times, October 9th, 1997, written by Norman Kempster, in which he quotes a high-ranking State Department official saying that this was done in order to open up a dialogue with the moderate, quote-unquote, regime of new President Mohammed Khatami, with the hopes that it would unfreeze the relations. Well, 8 years later, we got Ahmadinejad. That's how successful that was, and we're marching to the bomb.
We'll get to the bomb in a second. Yeah. Now, a lot of people think that all the Iranians are like their government. What percentage of the Iranians are for this type of regime? What percentage are against it, would you say?
Figures based, again, on how many people vote, how many people don't vote, a variety of things. Probably supporters of the regime are less than 10% of the population.
Less than 10%?
You have roughly 300 clerical families, and you have the theological army, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, which is 250,000. And then you have the theological militia, the Basij, which is just under 2 million. So with a population of a little bit over 70 million at this point, 72 million Iranians. I'm great with arithmetic. That's why I became a rabbi. I'm not great with arithmetic. But I figured that's like roughly, at best, 5% of the population. Well, let's give them a little bit, just for the heck of it. Give them another 5%, double it for, that still leaves us 90% of the population that does not like this regime at all. To give you an idea, for the last 3 years, there have been an average of 5,000 anti-regime demonstrations per year.
5,000.
Sit-ins, strikes, protests, demonstrations, public demonstrations, assassinations of regime leaders and military leaders. This is a very, very unpopular regime. Ahmadinejad campaigned that he was, as a populist, he was going to put a chicken in every Iranian's pot. They now have 28% inflation. Over half of the population is under 30 years of age, and of that population, approximately 50% are unemployed.
They don't even remember the
they don't remember the revolution.
It was
the revolution is
slightly before their times. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. So America and things American are very popular with the Iranian under 30 crowd.
If we took the mullah government, the bureaucracy out of the equation, and let's say there was a counter-revolution, do you think that most of the Iranian people would be okay with the state of Israel?
Absolutely.
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 So the whole thing is...
The Iranian people have a track record of being less anti-Semitic than almost any other people in the Middle East. If you go back to the history of the church in Iran, the Iranian church, before the advent of Islam in the 7th and 8th century,
yes,
the right time it got to Iran, the Iranian church in the 6th century, when there were huge pogroms in the West, the Byzantine Empire, they refused to participate in anything like that, and the Jewish community, small as it was, but the Jewish community in Iran experienced no anti-Semitism.
So the Jews fared well in Iran prior to the revolution?
Yes. You will find that Jewish Iranians in this country basically are supporters of the Shah, because their experience with the Shah was good. The Shah, since Jews predominantly stayed out of politics, the Shah didn't like those that questioned his power. He was, in many ways, liberal. He got into trouble with the clergy because he was too liberal. He wanted to liberalize things too much. But he also was an autocrat. He was going to be in charge, and was in charge. And the fledgling democracy movement, which the MEK started off as an anti-Shah program in 1965.
Wow, what?
They ran into great problems with him because they wanted democracy, and he wasn't interested in sharing power. And that's how this pro-democracy group, looking to find allies, made the mistake of signing up the clergy with them. They succeeded in getting rid of the Shah. It took them some time, but they did so.
They went from the fire into the frying pan.
Then they went worse. They went from the fire to the fires of hell, because the Iranian Revolution of '79 was hijacked by the Islamists, and that's really what happened.
Oh well, that's like how so? Like what kind of revolution was it supposed to be?
It was, the intention was to form a democratic government, and most people didn't realize. Iranians had been.
Ayatollah Khomeini wanted to form a democratic government.
Ayatollah Khomeini said that that's what he wanted to do. That he wanted to bring democracy, bring down the Shah, and bring a democratic government, and that he wouldn't even be involved in politics. He lied through his teeth from start to finish. A wolf in sheep's clothing. He promised that once he came back in February '79, I'm going to go to Qom, the theological city, kind of like the Vatican in Christendom, and I will teach and I will deal with the theological law, and if you have a problem, you can consult me. He was there for less than 6 months, and then he moved to Tehran and took control.
Wow. We have been speaking with Rabbi Daniel Zucker, an expert, a world expert on Iran, and we're going to get into it in the next segment as well, so stick around. You've been watching Rabbi Rock. Shalom.
Hanisim, Yal HaPokan, Yal HaGvurot, VHatshuvot, Yal HaMilchamot, She'asita Lavoteinu, Bayamim Hahem Bazman Hazeh. Oh God, we thank you. Oh God, we praise you. As you lead us to victory, for every miracle, for every blessing, it's your light that still keeps us strong. La da 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 da, la da 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 da, la da 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 da. La da 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 da. Because of your might, we fought a great fight, and through the darkness you led the way.